we really had an opportunity to have all of our legislative leaders here, the governor, lieutenant governor, the speaker, as well as some of our key chairmen, talk about issues that are coming up in this session, which started on Tuesday. So I think it's really a way for our members to tune in virtually and hear what's going on. We had a very special panel that looked at kind of a little bit deeper dive into how all the stuff that happened with getting the flag changed here in Mississippi, where we removed the old flag, had a commission pick a design for a new one, and then of course we saw 72.5% of Mississippians who vote for this new design to make it our state flag. And on Tuesday, House Bill 1 was introduced and passed out of the House. On yesterday, it passed out of the Senate and is now headed to the governor for signature, which means that we are very close to having an official state flag in Mississippi that we can all be proud of.
Welcome to MEC's Capitol Day. I'm Scott Waller, President and CEO of the Mississippi Economic Council, the State Chamber of Commerce. We're very happy that you're joining us for MEC's first ever virtual Capitol Day, and we're coming to you from room 216 here at the Mississippi State Capitol. Now, normally this room would be completely full with people even standing room only on the back walls and folks out in the hallway listening to legislative leaders talk about what's ahead for this coming session. Well, this year, things aren't normal. And as a result of that, we're going to have to bring you a virtual Capitol Day, and you'll still hear from our legislative leaders, and we'll be talking about a lot of the priorities that are taking place. But one thing's for sure, COVID hasn't changed the way MEC focuses on making Mississippi more competitive. And that's one of the reasons that this is such an important event, because our state legislature plays such a major role in that. So today, as we hear from leaders, they'll talk about what their priorities are. We're going to talk about transportation, we're going to talk about education, we're going to talk about a variety of things, from economic development and on. But at the end of the day, where we will be is we will have a better understanding of what's ahead for us in this legislative session. Now, there's also a very special panel that's going to be part of today's Capitol Day, and it's going to look at the state flag and the process that it took to get it done. We've talked to several leaders that were involved deeply in that and kind of gotten their feedback and input on what's going to take place, what took place, and what's going to take place in the years to come. You know, changing the flag is going to make a major difference for us, and it's going to have such a positive impact on our state, not only from an image standpoint, but from an economic standpoint. And I'm happy to say that this was something the legislature didn't waste their time on making official. In fact, on Tuesday, they brought up House Bill 1, which was to officially put the new design into the statute, making it our new state flag. So again, we're really excited about the opportunities that this is going to give us. Now, MEC is really an organization that would not exist without the support of our members, the support of our sponsors for events like Capitol Day, and the support of our volunteer leadership from across the state. This year, our chairman is Anthony Wilson. Anthony is president and CEO of Mississippi Power. Anthony has worked very hard in his role since becoming chair of making sure that MEC is prepared and stable to be able to give our members the information necessary to help them not only get through the COVID-19 pandemic, but to continue to make sure that we're getting information to our members about priorities that are extremely important to us. Anthony, again, we appreciate all the work that you have done, and we think that this is something that is so important to have a chair that is so active in making sure that MEC is focused on the things that matter the most. Anthony has a short video welcome for you as well, and at this time, I would like to introduce Anthony Wilson.
Good morning. I'm Anthony Wilson, President and CEO of Mississippi Power and Chair of Mississippi's Economic Council. And on behalf of our board, we appreciate you joining us today for MEC's virtual Capitol Day. This is our largest legislative event each year and one of the most meaningful events on our calendar. Although we can't be together in person this year in the interest of everyone's health and safety, I know today's program will provide important information concerning MEC's priority issues such as workforce development, business climate, education, and transportation. As our state's voice of business, MEC leads the private sector's essential role in the legislative process. Through our valued partnerships with state leaders, We advocate for issues that impact Mississippi's growing economic opportunities. Your voice was never more evident than during last year's legislative session when MEC's leaders played a vital role in addressing what I believe to be one of the most essential issues in our lifetime, changing our state flag. We championed the new In God We Trust design that was overwhelmingly supported by 72% of our Mississippi voters in the November 3rd general election. The legislature soon will take the final step, maybe even today, of officially adopting the design as Mississippi's state flag, one that will unite all of us and help us realize our full potential. We appreciate our legislative leadership for taking these bold and historic steps. And as we move into the new year, MEC will continue to focus on critical issues like developing a skilled workforce for today's economy, which remains our top priority. To grow our state's economy and raise per capita income, we must bolster career and technical opportunities and to keep and attract the very best and brightest of Mississippi talent. MEC's long-term strategic goal is simple: to move Mississippi forward. Thank you for your commitment and support of this important mission. And thank you again for being with us today for MEC's first ever virtual Capitol Day. It's going to be a great day.
Good morning and welcome to MEC's 2021 Capitol Day. Education is a cornerstone for moving our state forward. To have the skilled workforce for the jobs of the future, we must remain focused on providing the best education possible. Senate Education Chair Dennis DEBAR understands this. Senator DEBAR represents George, Greene, and Wayne County respectively. Please help me welcome Chairman DEBAR.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you for allowing me to be here. I appreciate the invitation and opportunity to speak to you today. Well, going into the 21 session, we're hoping that it'll be a shorter session. We did some great things in the 2020 session and looking forward to doing some more in the 21 session. The first thing we're looking at doing, as always, is helping our teachers and teacher assistants. Last year, we passed unanimously in the Senate a teacher pay raise of $1,000, as well as helping our teacher assistants by raising their pay as well. This bill will allow for the starting pay for a teacher to be $37,000, so their raise will be just above $1,000, but every other teacher will receive a $1,000 pay raise. This will be the first of many pay raises that we can hopefully see in the next during this term. If we pass this one, then next year and then the next year after that, we'll also look forward to a pay raise. The caveat to all of this is the revenue. As of right now, our revenue is up above projections. Going into January and February and March, we're hoping that will stay the same, but as anything, the teacher pay raise will be dependent upon the revenue, and hopefully we can make that happen this year. I know it's a big priority, not only for myself and the Senate, but Lieutenant Governor Hosemann as well. The other big topic facing our schools and our school districts across the state is the fact that our enrollment is down significantly. A recent report came out that says we have 23,000 children or students that are unaccounted for. That means they've not enrolled, or they're being homeschooled, or basically we're not sure where they're at this point. This will dramatically affect the funding for our school districts. MEP is based upon, in part, by our average daily attendance, and so we are looking at passing legislation to allow districts to be held harmless for the ADA, or average daily attendance. This will allow them to be funded at their 2019 and 2020 levels versus facing a reduction in their MEP funding. These two bills, the pay raise and the ADA hold harmless, are two of the top main priorities in our education committee in the Senate this year. If we can get those two done, that would be a significant factor in maintaining or improving our educational system. We need the pay raise for our teachers, not only to raise the pay, but to help bring more teachers into our educational system. We have a critical teacher shortage throughout our state. And one of the ways we can improve that is by helping revise and reform our loan programs and repayment programs. My Vice Chairman, Senator David Blunt, has been working diligently since our session ended in October to revise that. I believe the Office of State Financial Aid has bought off on a plan to consolidate many of the financial aid loan programs for our teachers, and that will significantly increase the opportunity for teachers to obtain loan repayments and grants and bonuses that they will critically need. Another main issue that will be coming up is dual enrollment. Senator Rita Parks and the Universities and Colleges Committee has been working with the Education Committee to bring about dual enrollment for 11th and 12th graders so they can achieve a diploma or some college credits or even a certificate such as in welding upon graduation. The process now is convoluted of sorts, and so hopefully we can kind of revise that system and make it a smoother opportunity, an easier opportunity for our students to obtain college credits or a certificate while in school. During the off session in November, the Education Committee had a hearing on year-round schools. We had Dr. Childress and the department come speak to our committee. We are looking at opportunities to remove barriers for this year-round or modified calendar coming up this next session. The year-round or modified calendar system allows for prevention of the, excuse me, it helps at-risk students maintain or become more proficient in their educational studies, as well as reduces the summer slide that happens over the 3 months of summer. So we want to help encourage districts to remove barriers the districts may have and changing to this modified calendar. The other issue that could be addressed this session is computer science. I was at a meeting at Mississippi State visiting with a research and curriculum unit a few months ago, and they'd said that there are about 40,000 computer science jobs available in our state, and that number is only growing. And so we want to help increase the awareness for students to enter into this career field, coding, other programming, things of that nature, to allow for students to become job ready as they leave high school. So those are some of the keys and points of emphasis we will be looking at during the 21 session. Of course, many issues may come up that we're not aware of at this point, but this is what we're focused on now, and hopefully we'll have a smooth session and everybody will be safe and healthy. Thank you.
A strong workforce is vital for Mississippi's economy and must be built with a strong educational foundation. Our next speaker, Representative Richard Bennett, consistently focuses on ways to improve our state's educational system. He continues to work with MEC on funding to assess our high school students' work readiness. We appreciate his dedication and know he is working to provide opportunities for success in the classroom. He represents Harrison County. Please welcome Chairman Bennett.
It's that time of the year again. The legislative session has begun. Welcome to your capital virtually. I'm Richard Bennett, Chairman of Education and an advocate for public education. The legislature appreciates the impressive efforts of the Mississippi Economic Council in its pursuits to stimulate and create economic growth during this pandemic. The legislator and the MEC understand that our economic strength lies in supporting and strengthening our education system. Since being elected to the House, I've worked to create policy that improves our students' graduation rates, aptitude for language arts and math. The importance of preparing Mississippi students to compete on a local and regional and national level is paramount for our economic growth. The legislature has made great strides over the past few years to ensure our children's success academic futures locally, regionally, and nationally. My passion for public education existed long before I was appointed chairman of the House of Education Committee. I was born and raised in a family of educators. I was on the local school board for many years. My mother was a teacher. My father was superintendent of education. My sister has taught for over 45 years. I have another sister who sits on a local school board. And my son is a principal at the local high school. As evidence of the legislator's commitment, let me give you some facts. Our education budget accounts for about a third of the entire budget. We allocated $2.5 billion during the year of 2020. This number excludes spending for our junior colleges and our IHL. Each year that number has grown and will continue to grow. Due to this support, our schools are now receiving national recognition. Quality Counts named Mississippi one of top 5 most improved states. The National Institute of Early Education Research named Mississippi only one of 4 states meeting all 10 quality standards for pre-K. 4 more Mississippi schools received National Blue Ribbon honors this year from the United States Department of Education. Also, now we understand that early learning collaboratives work for our students. We will continue to increase funding. Our 3rd grade students continue to maintain 85.6% passage on their first attempts of reading assessments. To elaborate a little bit on that, when we passed that, it was controversial because a lot of people thought that our 3rd grade students would be held back from advancing to the 4th grade. And we had principals, teachers, educators that questioned this. We had a lot of legislators that questioned it. But we went ahead and implemented it. We took bold steps. And now I think that this has been a game changer for Mississippi. All of our kids are able to read before they move on to the 4th grade. The National Assessment of Educational Progress, that's the nation's report card, continues to highly rank our state's improvement in reading and math scores. Mississippi ranks #1 in the nation for 4th grade score gains in reading and mathematics. For the first time, Mississippi 4th graders scored higher than the nation's public school average in mathematics and tied the nation in reading. Mississippi is the only state in the nation to show significant increases in 3 of the 4 core NAEP subjects. The percentage of Mississippi students scoring proficient or above on NAEP has increased significantly over the past decade, particularly 4th grade mathematics, where proficiency levels nearly double. They went from 22% from 39%. They sound like just statistics, but let me tell you, this is great news for the state of Mississippi. We have people coming in, states coming in from all over the United States, wanting to talk to us, wanting to know what Mississippi is doing, how are we moving this fast. Whoever would have dreamed that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, the people would have been looking for Mississippi and how to better their education department and their programs in their states. It just shows how far we have come in the state of Mississippi. And it's so important for our economic growth and for the quality of life for our residents and our students. Graduation rates remain at an all-time high of 85%, exceeding the 2019 national average of 84.6%. At the same time, the state's dropout rate fell to a historic low of 9.7%, a decrease from 13.9% in 2014. This is huge. This is transformational for these students and these people in their lives for a better life. The improvement in these two categories are extremely important and is making a difference in Mississippi. I was excited to see that the Mississippi Board of Education began looking at putting the ACT work keys into the state's accountability standards. These assessments is extremely important to help determine students' work readiness. I think, again, this will move the state forward. I'd like to thank Speaker Philip Gunn, Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann for their dedication to the students and educators in our state. They have consistently supported the state policies that support and strengthen and promote public education. Last but not least, many thanks to the MEC and Scott Waller for working to boost our economy during this pandemic. Your work helps the legislature provide the needed funding and support to the students and teachers of our state. The legislature appreciates your commitment to better our future. Again, I appreciate and thank MEC for allowing me to speak with you today. Thank you.
Well, the first thing on the agenda is a teacher pay raise bill. I intend on bringing that up in committee next week. It will be the same bill as last year that we passed. It'll be a $1,000 pay raise for every teacher, including raising the starting teacher pay to $37,000, which would be a little bit more than $1,000. Also increasing teacher assistant pay to $15,000. It's the same bill as last year. We had 52 senators vote and pass that. It's a unanimous vote. All 52 senators signed on the bill. We're hoping that this year, with the revenue being as it is, as well as it is, right now we're about $300 million above revenue estimate. So we have the money for the pay raise, and we're hoping to get it passed early out of the blocks next week.
Tell us, how does that make Mississippi competitive with other states when it comes to teacher pay?
The better pay, the better chances we have for recruitment. We have a teacher shortage, and anything we can do to raise pay is good. It still puts us a little bit below the southeastern regional average. However, we feel $1,000, if we can work on this every year for the next couple of years, will get us close and make us even more competitive with other states.
What other issues are there, particularly with students going to school virtually because of the pandemic? What do you see in this area?
Well, because of the pandemic, it's been a rough year for our teachers, educators, administrators, and parents. And so we're concerned that they could be losing a year of education, and so we're looking at remediation programs such as after-school programs and summer programs for students who are lagging behind. And we know that students that are lagging behind, because we're going to make them still take the accountability test this year. And our plan is to hold them harmless. We'll have legislation to hold them harmless, so no child will be left behind and have to repeat a grade just because they don't do so well in the subject test. The third grade reading gate, being an example. School districts, our plan is now have legislation introduced to hold them harmless, and so they will not be receiving a lower letter grade because of this. The main thing is to ensure that as students start in the fall of this year, that they're on the grade level they need to be, and so they are not losing a year education.
Tell us a little bit about the link between education and workforce development and what we may see in this session.
Education is imperative. If you don't have an education, it's going to be very difficult to get a job. And that's going to be shown by, I think we have some dual enrollment legislation coming out of universities and colleges with Senator Parks that will help students that graduate. They'll either have a certificate, are able to have a certificate and go right straight into the workforce, or be college ready and have college ready classes taken while they're in high school. So we want to make sure when a student graduates high school, they are ready to go into the workforce and become tax-paying citizens, or they're going to go off to college and study, do more studies. And so that's the priority of K through 12, is to make them employable once they graduate, or whether it be high school or college.
What role does MEC play in enhancing the educational opportunities in the state?
MEC is great. They go around the state talking about what needs to be done. They help us with legislation. They help us with recruiting jobs and employers, putting employees with employers. It's vital to the state of Mississippi, and they do a great job in helping us recruit business and maintain business and keep them here.
MEC is a private, not-for-profit organization. We are the State Chamber of Commerce. We're supported fully by our business members from across the state. We do not take any government dollars. We really do focus on using the dollars that are given to us through our membership to focus on key issues that really move the economy forward. Some quick examples, we've talked about workforce. Transportation issues are very important. We've heard from both of our transportation chairs today. So all of those things are what build on creating the type of economy. It's all business sectors, from small businesses to large businesses, from manufacturing to financial services. We have a broad base of members, therefore we look at broad-based issues. And really the advantage is that connection with all of the businesses across the state is a chance to be involved, is a chance to have a voice at the Capitol through MEC. And I encourage anyone who may not be a member to take a look at us, and I think you'll see there's a lot of value in what we do as an organization.
How can people get more information?
It's real simple. Our website is mec.ms, and there's a good bit of information there, as well as a button at the top that says click here to join. So hopefully, they'll take advantage of that.